I would like to talk today about this new Bill of Rights for tenants that the government, the Trudeau government, is introducing now or proposing to introduce in Canada. So I want to talk about the fact that this is obviously going not to have the effect that people expect it's going to have. It's not going to help the tenants, and it's only going to hurt most of the landlords and homeowners. Now, this is going to be another overarching regulation, another overreach, which some people say that it's actually illegal. Actually, the federal government doesn't have the jurisdiction to make this type of laws and regulations regarding tenants and rental properties in provinces, because this is a province issue. This is not going to have a good impact. At least what's happening now is, again, this is another example how the government is trying to overregulate the free market, to over-regulate and create more rules and laws to reach to something that the free market itself, when left alone, it can do itself. For example, price adjustments, competition. When that happens, rents go down. When you have more people that are able to rent their houses, rents end up going down. So when things are this way heavily favored towards tenants, and I have nothing against tenants, but when things are unequal, and Trudeau calls this fairness bill of rights, which this has nothing to do with fairness. What this is going to do is this is going to create more people that don't want to rent their houses. I'm one of them. I'm not renting. I could be renting. I could have a few multiple properties, but I don't want to get into this because of the government rules, because of this unprecedented government over regulation into such things as tenant and landlord jurisdiction, which they have no business to be in. I've been telling you guys, don't rent houses, especially in some areas such as Toronto and Vancouver. Especially if you don't have the money to do this, don't do it. Don't rent a house unless you have multiple houses. Then maybe you possibly can. Now, the other thing that the Trudeau government is going to do, they're gonna give $15 million fund. They're gonna fund legal aids for the tenants. Now, again, I have nothing against tenants, but again, realize the government is going to be working against the landlords, against the people, against the Canadians that are trying to rent their basement to make that mortgage payment. They're trying to rent a room to their friend to make that mortgage payment easier. Now Trudeau is going to come and fund that basement tenant to fight against you. He's going to tax you to fight against you. That's what's happening in Canada right now. Now, the other thing that in this Bill of Rights, they don't want to allow renovictions when the landlord goes and evicts the tenant because they want to renovate the place. Now, it could be truly that they're going to renovate the place, or that's just a reason that they want to evict this person. Now, I say they can do that. It's their house. If they don't want a tenant living in there, obviously there is a reason. That tenant is either late on rent, is either dirty and damaging the property. But these tenants use the law. Again, they use the heavily pro-tenant laws that are everywhere in Canada, favoring the tenants, ignoring property rights of people and landlords. If you want to renovate and rent it for higher price, that's your house. It's a free market. Guys, we live in a free market. The government has no right to come in there and tell you if you can renovate your house and rent for $100 more, if somebody's willing to pay for it. We live in a free market, and that's what this government that's authoritarian, socialistic motivated does not grasp and understand. Or they grasp and understand, but they have different motives. Now, let's get into the motives of why they're doing this Canadian Bill of Rights. Is we're moving towards where Canadians are mostly going to be renters. Most Canadians now, I think, if I'm not wrong, over 50% of Canadians are now renting. Now, if we have more and more people renting, then you're gonna have to have some type of federal law, some type of federal jurisdiction that covers all these renters. Because, see, the globalists have decided that you will rent and own nothing and you will be happy. So that's why they're creating Canada-wide renters' rights and bills. So they're getting ready, they're putting in the system for the coming global system that they're bringing in, when you will rent and you won't own anything and you will be happy. And that's why they're doing this. The second reason they're bringing this type of tenant landlord bill of rights is because they want to end homeownership. They want to put another nail in the coffin of homeownership. Property rights already basically are not non-existent in Canada. They've taken most of the property rights away from Canadians through property taxes, crazy rules and laws in municipalities that are in place regarding your home, what you can do at your house, how many people can stay at your house. I mean, the rules are so extensive and far-reaching that you effectively basically don't have most of your property rights that you would have in a free and right society. Even if you think you own your house, even if the title is on your house, you don't own it, guys. You don't own that house that you think you own it. You don't own it because there's so much property taxes to pay on it, and it's perpetually rising every year. It's connected to the valuation of your house. That valuation is rising every year, no matter what the market is doing. Your municipality is making that price of your house go up. The percentage of property tax keeps on going up every year. It's a perpetual rise. It's a perpetual rent on something that you own and that doesn't produce anything. So they're taxing a house when it's not producing anything, meaning you don't own it. You're paying rent on it to the real owners of your house. You're just a temporary tenant there yourself. Even though you have your name on the title, you're still a temporary tenant yourself. You're just paying property tax, aka rent, aka property tax, to the real owners, which is the corporation. And they're bringing in the Canadian Bill of Rights for tenants so they can have the system in place when everybody now is going to be tenants and renters. And the government will be able to come in right into your living room and tell you how you will manage your personal business in your living room. And this is a perfect definition of authoritarianism. I don't know what else you can call this.